We're live.
Good evening, everyone. Today is December 12th of 2022, and it is our last full council meeting of the year. And if you would stand as you're able to help me get it started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Mr. Pridnoff, would you get us started with a roll call, please?
Ms. Cheney?
Here.
Mr. Fisher?
Here.
Mr. Knipp?
Here.
Mr. Marks?
Here.
Ms. Snyder is absent. Mr. Van Harn?
Here. Motion to excuse Ms. Snyder.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Very good. For the record, Ms. Snyder did contact the village administration and myself. She is out sick this evening. So, all right, everyone have an opportunity to review the agenda for this evening. And if so, is there a motion to accept or any amendments?
I would like to make a request that in order to make a timely honoring of our Mr. Terry Donlin, that we try to, actually, I would like to end this meeting at 8:15. So any discussions, try to keep to a minimum. If somebody that's spent 40 years here deserves a little time to honor his service to the village.
As chair, I will
If I
take
need
that
to
under
make a-
recommendation.
If I need to make a motion, I will.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to end tonight's meeting at 8:15.
You can't adjourn until the end of the meeting, so you.
I know.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we set the adjournment time at 8:15. Anyone second?
I'll second it.
As a matter of discussion, I'm all in favor, and as chair, I will try to expedite the meeting, including this conversation right now. But to make a motion that we end at 8:15, I think, are you saying that we would cut off whatever is happening at that point?
No, I'm asking that we manage the agenda and discussions in a
Very
timely
good.
fashion,
All right,
rather than
All in
letting
favor?
discussions go.
all right,
Aye.
passes, thank you.
Beginning with the mayor's report?
Yes,
Every report
very-
should be,
Just asking.
every report should be, we have something very important.
Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
Motion to accept agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All
Aye.
right.
Thank you. We don't have any registered persons to address the council this evening. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, and let's see, we need to approve the minutes from our meeting on November 28th, full council. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve minutes.
Second it.
All right, any amendments to be made? No? All those in favor?
All right.
All right, great. All right, I have the solicitor's report up next. Thank you.
Do you want to allow the chief to jump ahead of me so that,
I
although I'm sure you would love to stay as I go through the legislation.
I normally do that, and I would have asked for a amendment to the agenda to do so. But without objection, I would ask Chief Meter to go ahead with his report.
Can we just change it for every week? Report on the agenda?
What's that?
Can we just change it for every week? Just put the report earlier on.
Yeah, I think that's a matter
The
of,
council have the
how the-
administration move it up on a permanent basis.
is there a motion?
Motion to. Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Very good.
Moving along. Well done.
Chief Meter, thank
All right,
you.
well, I appreciate the time. Wish everybody happy holidays. Good to see everybody here.
Yes.
We don't have really a whole much to report other than status quo. We did have a small oven fire yesterday morning. It was handled by our crew, and an engine from Reading came down and helped. Minor complication with the stove has been pulled out of service. They'll be getting a new one. The house just had some smoke in there, so we helped them get that out with our fans. And no real property damage, no injuries, but otherwise, you've seen from reports, a lot of what we're down here for is EMS details, and that is no different than anybody else in the county. We're probably running about 80% for all of our communities or EMS details. So we've been really happy with how things have gone so far. The conversation I've had from everybody here seems to be very positive. So we're looking forward to starting off 2023 is another great year with our communities working with each other. Briefly, I'd like to remind everybody that next Tuesday, that will be the 20th. Yes. That is our fire board meeting, and it takes place at 4:30 at our fire station in the front training room. There's parking across the street. There's also parking behind the building. So again, if any of you or council members, administration, residents would like to come to the board meetings, usually they're not too very exciting, but it's always a good chance to meet other people in the community. So again, always, when we have one, I would like to extend an invitation to everybody. So that'll be 4:30 on the 20th.
How long does this last?
They usually go, we try to get them done in about an hour if we can. We don't like to take a whole lot of time on things. And then I do like to report, we finish up the CBA with the fire union just this past week. We'll have that approved on the 20th, 3 years. It was a pretty easy negotiation. The only issue was the timing and trying to get our people together. One of our, actually the union president, one of our fire captains, he's a sergeant in the Army Reserve, so he was required time outside of DC through half of October and half of November. And then I was gone for some classes, so we were able to work around it. No real issues. The staff is very happy. They're enjoying what they're doing. They're enjoying the extra run volume. They're enjoying coming down here, meeting the Gulf Manor residents. So 3 years now, we can smooth sail on that and not have to worry about that. So things are moving right along. No update on our new ambulance that we ordered back in the spring. We're still being told it's probably 18 months out. The one that we got as part of the agreement from Gulf Manor, the old one from Miami, we're using it as needed. It's allowing us to keep at least 2 medic units on the road at all times, if not 3. So that contribution to the contract has really helped us out and provide service. So I'm really pleased with how things are going. And again, if there's any questions from your staff, your residents, your council members, please contact me. I'm happy to sit down and answer any questions and help out as best we can.
Perfect.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Chief.
Very much. And I know I say this every time that I see your face here. Thank you so much for the detail in this report, and I encourage all our residents. It's available on our website. The detail in this is like nothing we've said, like nothing we've seen in the history of Gulf Manor as far as I know. So thank you very much for that level of detail in your service to our community.
You're welcome. You probably tell I'm a numbers guy, so I like to dig into it and make sure we're heading the right way. So, is there anything else?
Thank you.
Questions?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
All right.
you're excused. If you-
Awesome. Again, everybody, have good holidays.
Yes, sir.
Happy New Year, everybody, and we will see you in January.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
sir.
Mr. Donilon.
Thank you. We have a couple pieces of legislation tonight. I'd like that motion to read ordinance 2022-12 by title only.
Is there
Motion to read by title only?
a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
This is an ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Gulf Manor during the fiscal year ending December 31, 2023. We need a motion to approve in a second, and I'll give a brief explanation.
Motion to approve.
Who was the second?
This simply is our annual budget. We take the budget, which was submitted to the Budget Commission and approved in July. And then we convert those to the budget appropriations, which authorizes us to continue to spend money come 12:01 a.m. on January 1. So this is the time of year every community is passing their budget going forward. I don't know if you received the attachment. I think each of you met individually with Eric and went through it. So what we're doing is approving this. So we need a roll call vote unless there's questions.
Are there any questions? And as was alluded to, each council member had an opportunity to meet with our fiscal officer and go line by line through this. Thank you for your time on that. Without any questions, do I have a roll call, please? Is that what we need on this? Yeah.
Yes.
We need a motion to pass.
Pass.
We had a motion to amend. I'm sorry, excuse me. We had, excuse me.
We have
We're waiting for roll call. Yeah. Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Mr. Knipp? Mr. Knipp?
sorry. Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yeah.
Mr. Marks?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder is absent, and Mr. Van Horn.
Yes.
Very good.
We now need a motion to suspend the second and third readings so this will take effect in time for January 1. And that would be a roll call vote.
Is there such a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
That's Knipp and Cheney. And any questions? If not, roll call, please.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Mr. Knipp?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yeah.
Mr. Marks?
Yes.
Mr. Van Horn?
Yes.
As an appropriation ordinance, it takes effect immediately, unlike other ordinances we have to pass as emergencies. So as appropriation, it takes effect, but it has to have the second and third reading, which we've now waived. The second piece, I'll ask for a motion to read by title only, resolution number 2022-34.
So moved.
Second.
It's, Van Horn and Knipp. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And this is a resolution authorizing a joint roadway improvement project agreement with the Village of Amberley Village. Need a motion, a second, and I'll give some background explanation of this, and I'll combine it with the second one as well.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Marks and Knipp.
So we have been talking about the Weehee Road project, which is to repave Weehee Road just from Lozannaville to the
Corp to corp.
corp to corp, but we're going all the way to the private property at the end of the cul-de-sac. We're crossing over into Amberley Village. So for savings, we joined with Amberley Village to have one contractor come in and do the work. Both villages will pay their proportionate share. We will manage it because we have the larger share of the project. So this resolution is to approve that joint roadway improvement agreement, which I believe Amberley has also approved today.
They're doing that this evening.
So they're approving it as well. We're allowed to do this under state law to save money. Two communities to join together for purchasing services or material. This is services. So we ask you to approve this by roll call vote, and then we will go into the next resolution, which is accepting the bid.
Any questions? Roll call vote.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Mr. Knipp?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Marks?
Yes.
Mr. Van Horn?
Yes.
And I need a motion to read resolution 2022-35 by title only.
Motion.
Second.
Cheney and Marks. All in favor?
Aye.
This is a resolution accepting a bid and authorizing a contract with Adlita Construction for construction of the Weehee Road Joint Improvement Project. Need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
And this accepts,
Cheney and Van Horn.
JMA, our engineers, solicited bids for the project. Adlita was the lowest bidder by a couple $100,000, if I remember.
Yeah, the highest bid came in at 1.260771 million. Atleta was the winner at 1.119531.
So we're approving this contract and approving $45,792.90 as a part of that contract, which is Amberley Village's portion, which they will reimburse us pursuant to the agreement you just passed when the project is complete. The resolution authorizes us to accept the bid, but also adds a contingency fund in there for any unforeseen circumstances that may come up. That doesn't mean we're going to spend it. That means we have it approved, so we don't have to keep returning to council for reappropriation or approval of contract amendments. Amberley Village, as we allocate it, would have to pick up their share too, particularly if it's applicable to the surface that's changed or if it's specific to their side of the project. The agreement says they would have to approve any change order. So just helps us to manage it easier and get the thing underway. And I think it's new paving and new curbs and driveway cuts and everything.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Mr. Knipp?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Marks?
Yes.
Mr. Van Horn?
Yes.
Good.
Then two of the quick points. One, we discussed at the last meeting, and that is very typical when a liquor license is being transferred, UDF to T-Mark. Department of Commerce sends a note down, asks if we want a hearing. Typically, you would not request a hearing unless there was some issue with that operator. I don't believe we've had any issues with the operator in a short period of time they've been here. And I think they've only been in the greater Cincinnati area also a short period of time. So we would need a motion not to request a hearing. Sounds odd. That's the way the motion has to be framed. Oh, we have addressed with them some of the site issues.
Okay.
So we've got a contact. We've talked to them about the littering, so
Okay.
forth, to keep that attentive to it. And then we talked to them too about their sign, which is in the 45th day of approval. They have a 60-day period. They are working with their sign company trying to get that up and running.
Thank you.
Is there anything else?
Motion?
Oh, you need a motion, I'll make a motion then.
I believe we already had the motion. That was,
Oh, we did?
or no, we didn't.
No.
We didn't.
No,
This was something
we're
else.
not having
I
a motion.
apologize.
Motion not to hold a hearing.
Yeah, motion not to hold the hearing.
Second.
Second.
All right, so it's Cheney and Kniff. Without any questions, I'll ask for a roll.
Nope, all in favor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's what I'm doing, two things.
And then we have an application for the community reinvestment area. Do you have your candidates that you would like to proffer as council's
I
two
have-
appointees?
I have a candidate, Mr. Danny Monahan. Long time resident, grew up in Gulf Manor, still living here. And he's been looking for a way to get involved, so he has volunteered and
Need a second then, and all in favor, aye.
I'll second it.
What was it for? What is going on?
The Community Reinvestment Area Council, we talked about the last meeting where
Okay.
Planning Commission appointed Matt
Scott
Scott, and then council appoints two, and then the mayor appoints two. You can only make your two appointments in a public meeting, so Mr. Monahan is one. Do you have a second?
Is there a second? I mean, is there a second
Second person.
nomination? Yeah. And also, as a point of order, I know I would certainly prefer the individuals who are nominated to be present for questions from council as a matter of order prior to a vote on it, but I will give that to the council for their discretion.
I'll motion to table it to the next meeting.
will that work with the timing of the CIR?
It will, but you're gonna have to act on that on the 9th. She is waiting, she just submitted the draft, we just received it, so we don't need to act immediately.
So I have an update on her. I talked to her just before the council meeting. She is ready to purchase the building. So her wait is for us. I asked her if she was under a time constraint. She said as quickly in the month of January as they can get it done, the better.
So we really would need to act January 9th, so we can convene the council then and review the application.
Everyone knew that we were supposed to nominate two people this evening, I believe. Do you have your two nominees already?
I know who all is eligible among existing council members, and I was planning on sweeping with that once everyone made their council members, their nominations. Just to remind everybody, we have a council meeting on the 9th. That's what's being referred to.
Did we have a second on his motion?
Yes. My motion?
No, the counter motion to table.
Oh, no, there was no second on that yet. We were questioning whether or not we had
Yeah.
another nominee.
Is there a second
Second.
on Mr. Fisher's motion
I just
to
feel
table?
that since we don't have two people proper yet, and we didn't get to interview or know what we're talking about, then we should table it for the next meeting.
It's up for discussion if there's a second.
What happens
To
if
the
we don't
motion.
come up with a second person?
We don't have a committee.
We don't have a council.
Okay,
So we need a second person. We need the mayor's two appointments. They cannot be anybody that's on council because you ultimately have to
Other
decide
committees.
upon the recommendation for the tax abatement. So and we're gonna have to come back anyway on January 9th to get the second one.
Okay, so then
oh,
that would make sense then to me anyway. So to
So
table
we,
until the
Terry,
9th,
we
have to
need
anyway.
to schedule the housing committee probably for the first week of January, right?
No, we should schedule them as soon as council makes their appointment, the mayor makes his appointment. Schedule the housing council to meet about
So
a
you're
week,
seeing
2
that-
weeks later at most.
Prior to the council meeting on the 9th.
Well, there's no council, there's no housing council to call
It was all explained to me.
for a meeting before we get their appointments on the 9th.
Mr. Marks, would your nomination be available to come in on the 9th? Do you know?
I don't know that.
You don't know?
I do know that he leaves the end of January to go to Florida for 3 months.
Okay. I would request, even if we vote, if we don't have a second on the vote to table, we still got to do another nominee on the 9th. And I would request that whoever council is nominating to invite them to come to the meeting, just as a matter of order, that person could answer questions of the council. But again, it's the council's nomination, so I'll defer to what you guys want to do with that. That'd be my recommendation. I do
I
not
do not
hear,
know if he's available to come in here on the meeting, so if he isn't, he isn't, so.
we have not had a second to expedite things here. We have not had a second on Mr. Fisher's motion. Is there a second?
We have, I guess we have to second because we have nobody,
Yeah.
Which is-
That's my point.
which is disappointing that people didn't come in with another nominee. I don't understand this. Sorry.
All right, so all in favor?
All right.
Without objection, I'll take it as unanimous. We will table it until January 9th.
That's the end of my report.
Thank you, sir.
Who was the second from?
Me.
From Mr. Marks. All right, thank you, Terry. As a reminder to folks that following the meeting today, we are going to be having a little bit of a recognition of the solicitor's time with the village, and I believe that there will be beverages that have been brought. Just want to make it clear for the record that there will be non-alcoholic beverages there, in addition to the other ones that we've ensured would be here. So on my desk here was a list of the proposed dates to be adopted by council for when we'll be meeting in the new year. I
I'd
believe
like to
everyone has a copy
Discuss
of
that
that.
during my report
Okay.
this evening.
And let's see, I want to specifically thank officers or Lieutenant Forrest and Sergeant Reed for their participation in the 4th annual Shop with a Cop K9 event that occurred. I saw it advertised. We understood that this has been done for the past 4 years, and it was publicized on, I saw Go Golf Manor Neighbors on Facebook, and just wanted to thank you guys and the Vanderkamp Foundation for their support of this. It's really good for the community. Thank you.
Yes, thanks. That was wonderful. Good job.
No, everyone, council members have received invitations to the menorah lighting at the Rabbinical Yeshiva of Cincinnati. It's a public menorah lighting. They'll be from 5:30 to 6 p.m. At 1863 Section Road. I'll be there. I know Ms. Cheney will be there. I'd invite you all as a second invite to certainly come. Should be a wonderful event. We have a request, or I have a request from SORTA about the the bus rapid transit proposal. We had folks that came in last month and discussed in detail, answered council's questions about what this proposal is. It has to do with the bus routes that run north-south. There are 2 corridors that are being proposed. To the east of us and to the west of us, we conveniently sit in the middle of it. I've been requested to answer a number of questions to give feedback about our interest in that. There's 8 questions here. If you're interested in those questions and would like to provide me with feedback to pass along to SORTA, let me know. I have them here. You can look at it.
Can you email those? Scan an email?
I can.
Okay.
I can.
Thank you.
Actually, with the administration's help, what I'll do is I'll forward the stuff to you and let you.
Yeah, that's
do that.
fine.
Yeah, phone friend.
Oh, that's a great.
And, all right, so there is the Metropolitan Sewer District is having their meeting tomorrow, December 13th at 6 p.m. This is a meeting for input on, what is it? It's for a public comment, basically on their budget and what they're doing with that. You can also provide, if you can't be there in person, they do have an online portal that's available. And if you're interested in comment, let me know. I'll send you that link and you can provide that information. So the Hamilton County Public Health Board had their We Thrive recognition event this past week. Ms. Cheney, Ms. Snyder, our village administrator, and I were all in attendance there. Our We Thrive navigator, Jacqueline Threadgill, was recognized at that event. was very happy to be there. Lots of very informative about what other communities have been doing. Ms. Threadgill was recognized for her work with with her Yoga in the Park project that she did here in the community. And I know that I speak for the full council in thanking her for putting that together and for our residents. And it was nice to have that recognition for her at that event. The Hamilton County Public Health Board also has an annual, basically an annual meeting where that consists of the mayors of the different communities, of the township presidents, of the president of the commissioners, of the Hamilton County Commissioners. And what we do is we elect who the chair is going to be, who the secretary is going to be, and appointments are made at that time. If you have any, I've attended these all the years that I've been mayor, I've been attending these. My designate can also attend. So if you're interested in being a designate for that, they meet in person. So let me know. I do plan on attending. And if you have any input about who you would like myself or the designate to nominate as the president or chair, any of that stuff, let me know. Also, I have a copy of, I mentioned the We Thrive recognition event. There was a proclamation that was made recognizing Golf Manor's We Thrive activities. And if you'd like to take a look at that, have that here. And without further, was that fast enough for you, Mr. Marks? Okay. So without further ado, I will ask for our village managers.
Wind
Yes.
coming this way so fast. So in front of you, this is a draft. Everybody take a look. Make sure you've got one of these. If not, I'll get you a copy. This is a draft of the council meetings for 2023 if we do them the way we did them this year. So there's a couple of things to note on here. Mr. Fisher pointed out that item number 2, Tuesday, January 16th is actually the 17th. What we're taking into account is that executive and finance meetings will alternate on the 2nd and 4th Monday as they have. And then engagement will continue to meet on Tuesdays at 9:30 before the second council meeting. There are a couple of months because of the Jewish holidays that get a little wonky in terms of trying to schedule them. So it makes sense in the month of April to consolidate that month down into one meeting like we do in the summertime. It would be on Monday, April 17th. We would do executive and finance at 5:30 and 6:30, and then council at 7:30. We have the summer session scheduled for June, July, and August. And then September again is a strange year again for the Jewish calendar. So we would need to do a single meeting in the month of September. This is a proposal. This does not need to be decided on this evening. The only thing that I need to know tonight is that council intends to meet on January 9th with the executive committee at 6 and council at 7. What I would recommend y'all do is take this back with you, take a look at the dates, make sure, and Mr. Prednoff and I have combed this pretty carefully for the holidays. Mr. Fisher, I believe, saw something else
April 11th.
that
I think was on Monday, June
No, April 11th.
19th is Juneteenth.
He's responding April 11th.
Yeah, so we'll have to fix that. Monday, June 19th is actually Juneteenth, so we will be off that day. So I'm going to recommend that we move the June meeting to the 26th of June. So we're trying to take into account for June, July, and August when the budget is due to the county. So there actually is some strategy there. The other thing to think about is we don't have to do our meetings like this. Mr. Donlin and I, for the last couple of years, have been trying to get us to a cadence with our legislation where we're discussing legislation on the first meeting of the month, passing the legislation on the final meeting of the month. That's not to say that we couldn't also make a decision that we could have the committees meet on the first council meeting of the month, which would be the second Monday, and then do the council meeting on the fourth Monday. So you, council as a body would meet only once a month. That's up to you guys, however you want to deal with this. There are, looks like there are 5 months and it makes sense to do one council meeting a month because of the holidays. What this does is this gets us out of having to hold meetings on Thursdays and Fridays, which I know became very difficult for some folks this year. So Mr. Donlin, I had mentioned that our charter requires that we meet at least once a month with the full council. So I'm going to throw that whole mess out there. Everybody needs to think about it. I would recommend you have some discussions amongst yourselves during the break, and then have some conversations with me. I will be gone the last week of the month on vacation, but I'll be back the first week in January. And prior to, the 23rd of December, I will be here. So if you want to have discussions about the calendar, I'm happy to do that. But the goal is to have something for you guys to be able to pass on January 9th.
All right. Any questions on that? All right.
So do we need to make a motion for the 9th at this point?
No, because you're automatically set for the 9th.
Okay.
Because you make you typically, under your rules, set your council meetings the second and fourth Monday of the month. So you would probably want to amend your rules if you go to the once a month with a specific agenda, like the committees and the legislature. And the nice part about that is if you do have something that has to be addressed, you can hold a very quick special council meeting on the same night as you do your committee meetings.
Okay, so that's the schedule. On the road summary for the month, thank you for passing the WEHE contract. We expect that will start sometime in January. The first thing that will happen is there will be a couple of trees removed that are in the right of way. And then our intent is once we do the pre-construction contract with Adlita, who is the contractor, we will hold a town hall and air quotes meeting for the residents and the businesses on WEHE to give them the opportunity to meet with the contractor and with our engineer to explain how the process is going to work for this road. It's going to be a little bit more complicated than the other residential streets simply because of all the traffic and the business that needs to be maintained. The biggest change for everybody will be that the paving, the actual laying of the asphalt will be done at night in the dark. So particularly in the business areas. So we realize that will affect some of the residents areas, but we'd like to get a handle on that ahead of time and make sure that people understand that something different is going to be happening with this project. The nice thing about it is everybody gets new sidewalks, new curbs. It's going to be a nice project once it's done. So those people without curbs right now will I'm sure be happy to have those again.
Are we gonna get a roundabout?
I'm sorry, say it again.
A roundabout, is there gonna be a roundabout?
No roundabout. The Elbrook bid opening takes place this Thursday at December 15th at 11 a.m. in this room. So at the next council meeting in January, we'll likely have a contract for you for the for the Elbrook project. And then Englewood and Canterbury will be bid sometime in January. So we'll keep you up to date on that. Leaf collection officially ends on Friday of this week. So get those leaves out there. Leaves.
Sorry, I was going to say that I know there's some questions about not seeing the second signs on some streets. Was that, and I concurred with that. I didn't see a second sign on my street, but that may have just been because I missed it.
It was by design because they couldn't keep up.
Okay.
But the we've had, I think the feedback we've gotten is that it went very smoothly this year. So the leaves that are at the curb after Friday need to be bagged and put out for Rumpke pickup. So we'll have messages out on the website about that. I'm sure that they will do a sweep of the village next week after Friday just to make sure they've picked up everything. But it's important. The cool thing about this is that we are actually sweeping the street starting next week. So all the curbs and gutters will get cleaned up again, and we've not done that for 2 years. It was pre-pandemic. So we are on a, hopefully now we'll be on a sweep the streets every 6-month cadence. We're not going to require people to move their cars this time. So I'm not sure. I think we need to see what happens with this round. If you want your leaves cleaned out in front of your house, people are going to have to move their cars. So on economic development, the next phase of planning has begun for any new acquisitions. We will be issuing an RFP to raise the other 2 buildings that we've acquired sometime within the next 30 to 60 days. The next step for us is to do an environmental asbestos abatement before any of that happens. So that'll be exciting to see that part of the next projects happening. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hirth, Ms. Brednoff, fiscal officer report, any?
Excuse me, Mr. Hurd, I don't think there was one complaint about leaves going on Manor. So that to me is a sign. I think it was a question, if that was normal, but so kudos to all that proactive work to see the way things.
Round of signs. Next year, we probably need to take that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday prior to the Thanksgiving holiday and take that as a bye week and let them get caught up that week. It became frantic because they were going from spot to spot to spot trying to get leaves, and at some point it was just we were having diminishing returns. So didn't seem to be an issue. The initial awareness of leaf season was out there. So the banners will be coming down this week.
And Mr. Brednoff, was I correct in hearing that there is no fiscal officer report?
No specific report, just thank you for passing appropriations for 2023, and thank you all for making the time to sit down with me.
Right,
Perfect.
thank you for your service,
Thank
sir. Chief, I actually deferred this from my report because I presumed you were going to speak to it. Is that good? All right. Chief Campbell, your report, please.
Well, first thing I have is the mayor's court report for the month of November. Total to the city, $3,247. Total to the state, $872.50. There were $25.50 in the other line for a monthly total of $4,145. That is the end of the mayor's court report.
We have a motion to accept.
Make a motion.
Second.
That's Cheney and Van Harn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Without objection, I take that as unanimous. Thank you.
Second thing, I did want to recognize Officer Mullen and Officer Ammerman. I received a letter from the sheriff's office thanking us for their assistance on a dangerous situation. There was an aggravated robbery, home invasion, and those officers helped in the apprehension of the individual that was responsible. I forwarded a letter to Mr. Hurd to be in the packet, so I think you'll have a chance to review that if you have not already. But they did a great job. So I wanted to echo what the sheriff's department said, and they're great members of our team. And then, because we're trying to get Terry to the cooler, I also wanted to second my recommendation for my recognition for the shop with a cop. Sergeant Reed put a lot of work into getting it organized this year. Him and Lieutenant Force participated. Officer Matthews also participated. She's done it every year. It's a great event. Hope we get more pictures. And thank you, and thank you to the other two that helped with that. And then finally, I've known Terry for as long as I've been here. And it's been great to have you with us. You'll be missed. And probably bump into you when I'm bothering Mr. Butler back here.
Oh, yeah. I'll save my comments till the end.
That's
right. Thank you.
So Chief, if I may brag just a little bit, it was very cool on Saturday. We were out running errands to come around Manor and see 3 Gulf Manor police cars, which made me wonder what the heck's going on. There's 3 Gulf Manor police cars here. But we were in force for Shop with a Cop on Saturday. And I saw that Sergeant Reed was recognized on the Matt Haverkamp page on Facebook, which was really cool. I really appreciate the support of that. The other thing I wanted to mention to everybody, we have 2 new officers who we've all met here, Cameron Ammerman and Ian Hill. Please make a chance to talk to both of them. Both very interesting guys. Cameron brings a certain amount of personality to this position, which I think works really, really well with Officer Mullen. And they're our night staff. So I think you'll find it enjoyable, and it's really nice getting to know these guys. So they were 2 great additions to our staff. So
Yeah, and I don't want to forget the Haverkamp Foundation because they help coordinate all the other agencies that took place. It goes without saying that they're awesome. And then finally, we talked in committee about stepping up traffic enforcement. So I don't know if everybody heard it or not, but I'll announce it here that you'll see increased traffic enforcement. I want to make the council aware and the public aware, so they find out this way versus finding out with the officer next to their driver's door. So there will be increased enforcement in that area.
Excellent. Thank you.
And if there's no questions, I'll just wish everybody happy holidays and happy New Year.
Thank you, Chief Campbell. Mr. Van Harn, is there executive committee report?
Executive committee, we met tonight, and basically, we set we kind of put the list together for our initiatives or for agenda items next year. I'll just read the title lines, because they're in no order. We're going to address our administrator's review process. We're going to try to put some explanation to the strategic plan, maybe some direction, because it's for different reasons. The landlord rental, we're still going to try to keep that in the forefront when we can handle that. LED lighting that we discussed, if we get involved with that. We're going to try to put some explanation to supporting the grant effort for the village. How we're going to do that, maybe figure it out, make some recommendations. I know Mr. Printoff's deep into that, but we're going to look through that and hopefully help them with that. We're just going to review our use of the STAR fund to see if there's anything else we can do to take advantage of that on behalf of the village and our residents. And also, we may look at the stipends for the elected officials to come up next year and see how it goes. And basically, all we did was discuss those things. We'll set priorities and put them on the agenda starting January 9th.
Thank you, Mr. Van Harn. Yeah, that was my understanding of it as well. If you have other priorities that you think should be discussed at that first meeting, certainly address the chair about that. Any questions?
I'd like to know one quick thing is some of these will be handled through subcommittee, we expect. So if anybody, even residents, would like to participate in anything that they're interested in, we're happy to do that because some business can be handled outside the meetings, but then we'll finalize it officially. So I just want to make that invitation.
Great, thank you. Anything else? Mr. Marks, I see that the next scheduled planning commission meeting is Tuesday, January 3rd at 6:30, pending any business. Is there any other report?
Currently there's no business for January 3rd. But in the last meeting, our primary objective was to get somebody appointed to the housing council, and Matt Scott volunteered to be a representative. Nice. And he really did volunteer.
Well, thank you on behalf of council to Mr. Scott. We appreciate his business in the community as well as his volunteerism and his participation on this. He's a great member of the
and
community.
A great addition to Gulf
Yes.
Manor, by the way.
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
That is it. All right. For Community Engagement Committee, Ms. Snyder is out sick today. I will say that we are doing, please help spread the word. I haven't seen the banners up yet, but maybe that's just been my blind
The Santa
sight.
banners?
Yeah, Breakfast with Santa.
They're up.
Yeah, they're
Are they
up.
up? All right.
I've been up
Yeah.
since Thursday.
All right, very good. That was my understanding. I just hadn't seen it myself, so I'm glad that other people are seeing them. So that is Saturday, the 17th. That's this Saturday from 9 to 11. Breakfast with Santa. We'll have pancakes. My understanding at this point is we'll have pancakes. We will have bacon and eggs. And also for those who are interested, we will microwave on the spot if you'd like to have any vegetarian sausage or anything like that. All right. There will be a Santa there. I believe we'll have a Santa's mailbox will also be there for anyone that wants to just write their list and put it in there. And should be a fun time for all. If you would like to help decorate, Ms. Snyder and I have, with the help of the administration, and thank you, set aside the Friday before to do a lot of the setup for that, as well as the morning of course. So if you're interested in helping out with that, please join us. We will certainly appreciate your assistance. Let's see, Ms. Snyder, do you have an education report?
Miss
Ms.
Snyder.
Snyder, she's not here.
Jeez. Miss Cheney, I apologize. I looked down and I saw her name.
You're the other, actually.
Yes,
I know.
the other lady on council who does so much for us.
Just
Thank you.
PRM LSDMC will be meeting this Wednesday at 3:00.
All right,
That's it.
right. Mr. Fisher, I have a couple of non-profit, just brief statements. One is that there's a free legal clinic for veterans on the second Monday each month. So I believe was that today then? The next three clinics are December 12th, January 9th, February 13th. Those are held at the VA Medical Center. Basically, they have attorneys that are available not to represent you, but to answer questions about things like assistance, dealing with whether it be customer service kind of stuff or whether it be benefits. So they can help with making recommendations and help with referrals to legal counsel if you need it. Let's see, from Saturday, December 10th through Sunday, December 25th, Metro will have two buses that are rotating through the Metro's fixed routes that will be all decked out with holiday decorations inside the bus. If you happen to be staying at a bus stop and one of those buses comes by and you're getting on it, it'll be a free fare. All right, so that's sort of kind of random Christmas gift to everybody. So just wanted to make you aware. If you see one of those, don't pay your fare; it's free. All right. Let's see. They also have announced that on Wednesday, December 14th. That's this Wednesday from noon till 1, as well as from 4:30 to 5:30 at Government Square at the transit hub there. Santa will be there greeting Metro riders and handing out goodies. And final one is that the healthcare marketplace re-enrollment deadlines are approaching. And that's for, of course, folks that aren't getting insurance through their employer already. So if you are already enrolled with insurance through the marketplace, you have until January 15th to change that up. But if you want it to be effective by January 1st, your deadline is December 15th, so this week. So if you want to change up your plan, you need to log in to your account on the healthcare.gov website. If you do not do so, you'll be re-enrolled in either the same plan that you're in now, or if the prices have changed, or any of the coverage has changed, they will automatically switch you over to something that's comparable to what your previous coverage was. And those are my nonprofit reports. Anything from you, Mr. Fisher?
If I just take this time to condemn the anti-Semitism that's happening around the country. There's no room for that in our democracy, and therefore I just want to condemn it, and it's being rampant more than it was in the past few years, so figured I would give it a shout out. See if everybody feels with us against that rampant anti-Semitism from some big players out there.
I saw the FBI report today. It said that's the number one hate crime right now. It's like 18%.
Wow.
I think LGBTQ is number 2 at like 16%. It's frightening that our society is turning to this.
I saw a report that helped me with some context on this, which was that the FBI, that is predominantly responsible for tracking this kind of stuff, has seen the trends in the past go up, and they have made it a priority to address it. Since 9/11, there's been changes in what they are told that in terms of what they can prioritize, and the tracking, not the tracking of this, but the enforcement of it, like the chasing it down and actively going after hate groups, has decreased since 9/11 over the years. And what they've seen is consequently an increase in this kind of behavior. We don't have the man hours being spent on actually chasing down some of these hate groups that are spreading this. So on behalf of council, absolutely. I don't think there'll be any objection that we stand in solidarity with those that are facing these crimes, as well as those fighting it.
Amen.
All right.
Thanks.
Finance Committee, Ms. Cheney, I see that, when is the next finance? I guess we haven't voted on when the next one will be. When is the next one?
It's currently
End of
planned for
January
January.
23rd at 6
January
p.m.
23rd. It's currently, it's on your agenda.
Okay,
Very good.
No, we're not gonna meet this month, right?
No,
Correct.
Okay,
this is one meeting month.
okay.
Sorry, I see that underneath the announcements here. So the next executive committee meeting will be 6 p.m., January 9th. Council will meet at 7 p.m. or immediately after the conclusion of the executive committee meeting. Next finance committee meeting is 6 p.m. January 23rd, followed by the 7 p.m. meeting of full council upon the conclusion of that finance committee meeting. Are there any other announcements?
Yes, I have one. I think we should recognize that Donna Baumgartner has passed away.
Yes.
Yes, and Donna was a long time resident, been here forever. And she did help with recreation activities, the festival, and she was Women's Club member. And I probably am forgetting other things, but her service is Saturday at Holy Trinity in Norwood at 10:30 in the morning. I wish you recognize her. And then I'd like to thank Mr. Donnelly for all these years that I've got the pleasure of working with you. I really appreciate it, and I wish you the best in retirement. You'll love
Well,
it.
He's not retired.
I'm not retiring,
All
so
right.
those who are
Well,
hearing
part-time.
this,
Part-time retirement.
I'm just stepping back a little bit, as my wife says, to start defining that
Yes,
runway
there you go.
and freeing up opportunities that we would have without having meeting commitments to travel a bit. I have with me tonight Rob Butler, who you've met before, and Alex Boymel, both of whom are going to hopefully step in. I will still be around in the background to annoy them, harass them, teach them, mentor them, whatever the term is. As I was sitting here when the chief said thanks, I was like, how many chiefs have I worked with?
Yeah.
I'm thinking 6 or 7. From Mel Weber.
Mel Weber.
Oh.
Yeah, you started with Mel
I
Weber.
started with Mel Weber through, I think, Jack McDaniel, Ed McKinney on a temporary basis, Pat Holby, Eddie Taylor, and Chris.
Tilly.
Tilly.
Steve Tilly.
Tilly.
Forgot Tilly.
Tilly, I forgot Tilly. That's right. Yes. How
Yeah.
could we forget Steve?
Yeah, we can. And number of fire chiefs you?
Only 3 fire chiefs.
That's right.
Only 3. Mike Gunn, Greg Ballman, and Jim Footoff.
You
Mayor's
were here?
probably 6 or 7.
I thought you were here when, before, Gunn.
No, I started when Mike would give his reports at council meetings. And
Okay.
he made wearing an earring a fashion statement
Yes,
for,
he did.
for men. He explained to us that it was a sign of being a great warrior.
That's a Scottish.
But thank you. Great memories.
Yeah.
Great people.
Thank you. I've known you since you've been here.
So if I
Thank you, thanks, Terry. I've known you since you've been coming here from the 70s, and I know your dad.
Yeah,
I know your cousins.
yeah.
Went to school with one of them.
It's easy to know a cousin when there's 60 of us.
Yeah.
may,
And all I need to know is will the cooler be inherited by Rod?
Oh, pressure. Alex.
Is there pressure?
both of
and
you.
he's like, a cooler.
Mhm.
It's kind of a December tradition, and we do have Virgil's sugar-free root beer, as the mayor pointed out.
Actually, I brought some that has sugar in it if anyone wants to
Oh.
really, really let loose tonight.
Yeah, I am making a motion that Rod inherits the cooler.
But thank you. I certainly would not be where I am without all of you. I've got a lot of recognition for my work in municipal communities, all the way to currently being on the board at the Ohio Municipal League.
Yeah.
All started here.
Yep.
So thanks.
Thank you.
So 5 years ago, when I started this, and I did not come from this background, Mr. Donovan has been a huge, huge, huge support, and I applaud him.
So we still have 15 minutes. We also could adjourn early, but that's your choice, not mine.
Stick a fork in us.
I'll leave that to the discernment of Mr. Marks.
Motion to adjourn.
So we're going to overturn the previous one to adjourn in 15 minutes.
I said honor before.
I'll second it. I'll second it.
So we have,
All in favor?
who was the first? Was
I made the
Mr.
motion.
Marks, Mr. Van Harn was the second?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for your service, and have a happy new year.
Terry and I just need a couple
And we're
of minutes.
clear.